My name is Koffi. Yes, Koffi because I'm a male born on Friday. Yes, and Fridays are always the best.
I was born on a Friday.
Okay. So your name is Efia.
Efia.
Yes.
But they've gone through Ghana naming ceremony. So let them mention their Ghana names for you.
No, I want to know what that name is.
Okay. Efia is a Friday born girl.
Yes.
No, what you are going to ask.
No, she will tell you what
Amafu.
No, you're getting it right. Amafu.
And well, I wasn't there, so I don't know the names, but I got to
find it.
Lamale.
Lamle, that means you are my daughter.
Oh.
Yes, you are my daughter.
And I was born on a Monday, so I'm Ajua.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. And you are what?
Na Kwakor.
Now Kokoi.
Now Kokoi.
Is it Koko or Kokoi?
I think it's Kwakor.
K-O-R-K-O-R.
KWARKOR.
Kwako.
And
I think I'm not Corday.
you think you are?
I didn't actually learn my name.
But your pronunciation is basically getting beautiful. You think you are?
Corday.
Now Corday.
Corday.
How did I say it?
Yes.
Now Corday.
Yes, but I think you said it. You said it right.
And you are?
Na Adole.
Adole.
Oh.
Adole mo fato simple.
Na Dede.
Na Dede. Is it Dede or Dede? Dede. Because we have Dede and Dede. Yes, Dede. And you
What's
are?
the girl called on a Friday?
Na Meli. That's name. That is name Mama's daughter.
Yes. So with these names, I would tell you I've had so many groups coming, but your pronunciation is spot on.
Thank you.
Immediately you mention a name, it is easier for us to know what you are saying. We have some of our brothers and sisters who would just be going, what's the? It was just going up. Yes, maybe I'm sure you've tasted some Ghanaian cuisine, so the accent is coming. Yes, so basically, I'm glad I am with the Nas. So yes, we're basically going to have a very important tour. This particular tour is going to be rich in oral content. It's going to be rich in research, and also it's going to be more of a spiritual tour. Because you're coming here, it's not because you had all the resources to be here. No. We have people who have all the resources, who are so desperate to be here, but they've never had a chance to be here. So what does that tell us? Then it means our coming here is something that has been destined on us, and we just not only coming here to listen, but we should also be able to speak. Far too long we have sat aloof, watching our oppressors and our enslavers to write their story about us. They make it so beautiful because they make us tell what they want us to say. But when the prophecy was fulfilled, now the door has been opened. Now our consciousness has been brought back to us. So now the question is, what are we doing with it? If you want to know about the prophecy, the first documented slave ship landed in Virginia, Jamestown in 1619. 1619 all the way to 2019. My maths is not that good. So when you do the maths, it is basically 400 years. And that's 400 years is a prophecy about us that has been enshrined in your Bible. I am not religious.
I got you. I heard exactly what you said.
I don't read the Bible as a religious tool. Whenever I read the Bible, it is our history. Everything in the Bible, in the Old Testament, that is what our history is. So everything, because the last time I had some conversation with a Christian, I believe all ritual, I respect all religion, but sometimes we need to talk about certain things that I don't understand. So after the history, I was talking to this Christian and he was so pissed off about the trade. So I asked him this question. I asked him this question. Is slavery a good thing? I asked him, is slavery a good thing? You know what he told me? Maybe it's the same answer you would give me. It is not. Or it is. It is.
No, I was. Yeah.
Is slavery a good thing? So is it a good thing? No. So if slavery is not a good thing, and you all agree it's not a good thing, and I have a book that is telling me that the slavery is good, do I have to believe that book? There are so many scriptures in the Bible that tells about the importance of having a slave. It is good. And the only people that should not be taken as slaves are the people of Israelites, are the Israelites, not the Hebrews, but the Israelites. So this whole thing of the trade, before I believe, okay, I have my biases. So I believe that before we can move on as Africans everywhere, we have to get our foundation right. And our foundation is our spiritualism. When you read King Leopold the letter, King Leopold II, its letter to his missionaries to Africa. Do you know what he told them? He told them that when they get to Africa, they should never tell the Negroes about God, because they know God more than they do. So if a letter like this is even on the net, it could and all their modus operandi, that they should, because they could write more, they should write more, speak it more, advertise it more, it becomes the truth. The same modus operandi is what they are using now. They say things, they advertise it, they say it over and over, and we see it as truth and we carry it. So if even one king that killed millions in religion could boldly tell his missionaries that we know God more than they do, then it means the God that our ancestors were serving was a true God. And when we understand that aspect of it, that is the foundation, and we're going to build on that. But you know, whenever we talk about the trade has been a medium at which the Caucasians are using in dividing us. They have echoed some questions in our minds, and most of our brothers in diaspora keep asking that question. One of the questions that they mostly ask me is that, Koffi, if you say you love us as you said, why then do you have to sell us? And whenever my brothers and sisters ask me that question, I love it. You know why? Because we have to be able to answer that question. Because if you love me, if I love you, as I said, there's no way I would ever sell you. So if I were to be even in your shoes, I would have asked so many questions, even more than what you guys are asking. But I want to take you back a little to the trade when it was so busy in there. UNESCO, in a book entitled The Transatlantic Slave Trade, Landmark, Legacies, and Exploitation. In that book, UNESCO gave percentages of indigenous that fought for the trade and those that were against the trade. In that book, it stated that 99% of the indigenous did not support it. We had only 1% that supported it. Today, the 99% of the people are being suffered for the pain caused by the 1%. And this pain makes you feel that I, Koffi, being your brother, and I didn't go through any pain. But today I'll tell you the pains that you are experiencing, it is simultaneous. We in here are also experiencing the same pain. One will ask me why. Let me present you with two scenarios. It is a very difficult one to choose. But for the sake of my presentation, I'll entreat you to choose one. Your daughter came to you and said, Mom, a friend of mine is having a birthday party. So I'm going to have fun. And as dramatic as women are, they all said, oh, make sure you come home early because there's a lot of job to do. The child went to the birthday party and Mom was seated in the house waiting for the child to return. So the only person Mom was expected to come home was the child. Mom heard a knock on her door. She came out just to welcome her daughter. So when she opened the door, what she found was a man standing in front of her, presenting to her the dead body of her daughter. This is the first scenario. The second one is when the daughter went to the birthday party. Mom was waiting for the daughter. The daughter never returned. With those two scenarios, which are very painful, if I ask you to choose one, which one would you choose? And why?
The daughter
I want
returned
the
with
body.
the dead body.
Yeah, I want the body to rest where it rests.
Why are you all thinking alike?
Not returning.
Not returning.
Not
Not
returning.
returning. So,
Not returning, because then it's a possibility that she's still alive.
okay. So 4 went for closure, and 2, 3 went for non-performing, not returning. As a mother, do you know what the non-return will cost you?
A no return.
You'll worry forever.
As a
You'll
mother,
worry forever.
and your worry forever will not even take you forever. Because even when you are eating, you can't even eat. You'll be thinking about your daughter. What is she eating? What is she wearing? So every day of your life is going to be more in pain. So closure is better. Because at least with closure, we've all lost some loved ones. It is so painful, yes, because I did lose my dad these few years. It's so painful, but it got to a time you have the closure, so you move on. But if my dad was missing,
You wouldn't have closure.
I wouldn't have even have peace. I would be crying every day. The hope that you see is not just on a silver platter. We don't see it like that. The pain alone will even make you not even see what hope is. So that pain of you missing, have you ever thought of your brothers and sisters, the 99% that have their children stolen in Africa? Have you also thought of the pains that they are also enduring? Because they have their children missing and they don't know where you are. So the only time we become so happy is when you guys return home. And your returning home is not just to come to me, just to step your land on the earth of your land. So immediately you step your foot right here, that is when the earth will breathe and say, my daughters have come back to me again. So that is the thing. So if we are one people, even in your family, you do have 2 people, 3 people fighting. But at the end, because we are the same people, we come together and we solve it. So why are we allowing these devils to be in our middle and try? Because they tell you so many things about me. But have you asked yourself what they tell me about you? Have you ever asked yourself that? They tell me so many things about you.
Yeah.
They say you guys don't like working. You are drug addicts. You are thieves. You have nothing in brain. They say all this. You are lazy. They say all these things about you to me. And they come to you again. And they tell you things about me to you. So the question is, what do they want to achieve?
Division.
So what is our unity costing them? Would our unity cost them so many or so much?
No, it's costing us. If we use it, we don't.
So our unity coming together, they know it's going to cost them. And because they don't want that to happen to them, then they have to be in our middle.
Yeah.
And that is why we have to be very conscious. Okay, before the coming of the, so slave markets during the discourse of the trade also played a role because the market was where the two devils meet, the buyers and the sellers. According to an historian, Akosua Adomapebi, in a book entitled The History of the Indigenous Slavery in Ghana, from the 16th century to 19th century, she gave 69 slave markets that existed in the map that she outlined. But of all these 69 markets, two markets was documented extensively to have played the most important role. We have the Salaga market at the northern part of Ghana and Asin Manso, where we are now. Because Asin Manso in here was the second largest and the busiest because it was closer to the three dungeons, Fort Amsterdam, Cape Coast, and Elimina. So captives, mostly prisoners of war, that were captured from the upper borders of the country, like some part of Burkina Faso, some part of Ivory Coast, Cameroon, everywhere you were captured. In chains and shackles, they were made to walk all the way to the Salaga market. In the Salaga market, our forebears were given something to eat and something to drink. The food and water was not to make you fat, no. But because they knew the journey from the north to Asemanso is going to be the toughest. So after the food, in chains and in shackles, barefooted and half naked, our ancestors walked for over 400 miles before getting to Asemanso. 400 miles is almost 3 months of a journey. So if all this been equal and you are a lady, you have to go through 3 menstrual cycles. That was how tough their journey was. But for me, I don't even talk about the pains of our ancestors. The pains that they endured along the journey, I don't talk about it. Because I believe that if I do speak about their pains, I am disrespecting them. The reason being that I can't understand their pain. So who am I to describe what they felt? But research has already proven that the pains felt by our ancestors is still felt in us today.
Yes, absolutely.
So I am not the one to tell you that the pain is right in us. They landed here at Asan Manso. They were very tired and they were very thirsty, no food. The only time they could find food when they were marching was when they could find some rotten fruits, pick with their toes and eat. So when they came over, they were very, very lean. They were very tired and they were very dirty. So in here was where they were given something small to eat. A device called a speculum oris is put into their mouth, count their teeth to forecast their ages. And broken bottles was used to shape them, just for them to look attractive. Before they were being made to take their last bath in the slave river. After taking the last bath, they went through the first branding and they are auctioned. But those of our ancestors who were not able to continue the journey from here, for them, it ended right here for them. They were killed and buried from the edge of the grass all the way to the river. So everywhere here are the graves of our ancestors. That is why when you were coming through the main gate, the gate looks very short. So most of you came through like this. Yes, unconsciously, you've already paid your respect to the grounds. The other ones that were able to continue the journey, they were distributed along the 3 dungeons along the coast. The saddest part of the distribution is that when they realized that you guys are coming from the same place, you will never be taken to the same dungeons. You were separated to different dungeons. So that one will go to the Dutch, one will go to the Portuguese, and one will go to the British. So when that happens, then it means the separation becomes too wide and you can't make that closer. That is why sometimes you could go to a place and you see somebody who looks exactly like somebody in your family. And that person that used to look like somebody in your family carries your family genes. He is part of you. The separation has caused that. But when they were taken to the dungeons, they waited for 3 months for the slave ship to arrive. Now when the slave ship arrived, our ancestors were taken through, they walked through a particular tunnel, they went through a particular door before getting into the slave ship. But the name on this door is very scary. The door of no return. When they stood right in front of that door, do you know what they saw? They only saw 3 things. They saw the ship, they saw the ocean, and the only thing they remembered was, we are going to die. But when they turned back, do you know what they've missed or what they've lost? They've lost everything. They don't know where their parents are, where their fathers are. They don't even know where even they are. But that door was the most difficult door for our journey to cross, our ancestors to cross. because it was already having the thinking of the Caucasians. Because if somebody tells you you're never going to return, that person will not just use words, but that person will back his words with actions. So the first thing they did to us is when our names was changed. They gave us names that are really not important. In African naming system, no one is given choice. You don't have a choice when you're named. You are rather given life assignment. So your name tells you who you are,
Yes.
what to do, your destiny, and everything is part of your name. So when you mention your name to me, I should be able to look in your name and tell you everything about yourself. They took that power away from us. And they gave us names that are really not important. Names that, excuse my language, could be used to name a dog. In our setting, you can never use Nalamini to name after a dog. We have a name for dogs and we have a name for humans. But we could have your name, somebody called Cook, but a dog is also called Cook. Because that name have no spiritual working. They took it away from us and they gave us names that are not important. Still, our ancestors kept faith because we had our beliefs and system in us. So we decided that if you've taken our names off, we'll still go on with what we believe. And they said no, they will not even allow us. So they started taking us through a journey of epigenetics. A journey to change your mindset for you to feel yourself as them, but not yourself. Do you know that even today in the US of A, you have Africans who prefer to be called Black Americans, but they never wanted to be tagged as African American. But Peter Touch told you something, a musician, he said, don't matter the nationality, as long as you are a black person, you are an African. The only thing that was left was our spirituality, the way we pray. When you come to me and you see me praying, I have a bottle of rum, I pour it on the ground, and I started saying my words. You do the same thing to my woman. You pour it on the ground. That is how genetically coded we are. There are certain things that they can never change away from us. So it has been changed. So now we have to change that writing on the doors of no return and make it the door of return. And that is why we have these two of our ancestors in the graveyard. First from the left, Madam Crystal from Kingston, Jamaica. And right in the middle is Samuel Carson from New York, US of A. These two of our ancestors, one represented the Caribbeans and one represented the Americans, have to have their mortal remains flew back home in order to go through the door of no return at Cape Coast Dungeons. Immediately they went through that door, spiritually the curse was broken, and the name on that door was changed to the door of return. On the 1st of August 1998, the two bodies were buried right here. Fast forward in 2019, during the year of return celebration, the Prime Minister of Barbados, Her Excellency Mia Amotley, during the year of return celebration, she decided to come home with all of their ancestors that have been buried in the ancestral graveyards in Barbados. So every bones that she had, she brought it together just for them to have peace, because the trait itself, the prophecy has been fulfilled. The prophecy of us being victorious has already been fulfilled. So when you read Genesis chapter 15, verse 13 to 14, in your own history, it is there. It said, can you read for me? Thank you.
Maureen. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance.
That is it. So now, Genesis chapter 15, verse 13 to 14. So now this is it. Now the prophecy has been fulfilled. You have been given the chance to meet your ancestors. Today, if you have the chance to meet them, what would you see? What would you do? And what would you ask? That is all that we do at Asemansu. The rivers is our ancestor, because rivers were so good to our ancestors. Rivers saved the souls of most of our ancestors, and we see ourselves more to be rivers. That is why when you listen to most of the Negro spirituals, you find a river represented somewhere, because that is the power in the rivers for us. Now we're going to go to the rivers of our ancestors. you would have the chance today to walk on the sacred path that your ancestors once walked. How would you treat that place? Would you mock that place, or would you treat that place right? That is why for me, whenever I walk through this path to the river, I always take my shoes off in order to thank my ancestors for so many things that they did for me. Christianity, even the Bible, Moses did it when he was going for the Ten Commandments on Mount Sinai. God told him, hey, the land where you're walking on first is the land of your ancestors. It's a sacred land, and you have to walk barefooted on that land. So today, I told you the Bible is our issue. So that aspect is the same that we are practicing. When you walk on the grounds of your ancestors, the question is, we believe that our ancestors left so many traits on the land. So which of the traits are you in search for? Is it resiliency? Is it bravery? Is it love? Is it sacrifice? It is about you. Which one do you want? So whilst you walk on their sacred path, your prayer should be what you want, why you are here. And some questions that you could ask them, which I can never answer, or research-based I could answer. But some are so spiritual that you needed answers. And those answers could only be provided by your ancestors because they know you. And they would give you those answers through dreams, through revelations, and through trance. So whilst you connect so well on this journey, and you put your prayer and your thought together, the testimonies always come anyway. So people always can call me and say, Koffi, thank you for this job. And I say, you don't need to thank me. I did nothing. It's just that you were able to connect rightly with your ancestors.